Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. This is part 7 from my Speargun project, and this time I'll start working on the hardware for the Spearguns. That piece of wire that you saw me cutting before, that was the first step in making these U-shaped pieces, which once they're finished, there will be the guides for the line that runs on the bottom of the Spearguns, and they will go somewhere around here. But for now, I'll put this aside, and I'm gonna start making these brackets. I made these ones before just as a test piece, and I used the aluminum for that reason. But now that everything looks okay and I kinda like it how they turn out, I'm gonna use 2mm stainless steel. I already glued on the templates, and the first step will be to center punch all of the holes and then with a hacksaw cutting the profile. I'm gonna drill this center hole first. Will be a 6mm hole, but to prevent the hole from being oversized, first I'll use a 5mm drill and then I switch to a 6mm. And now I'll drill these holes all the way around with a 3mm drill. And finally will be these holes here, and they will be both at 4mm 0.2. With this countersink tool, I'm gonna put a small chamfer on all of the holes in both sides, and especially on this one here because I have to remove all of these burrs. Off camera, I finished drilling the rest of the holes on all of these parts, and before I start cutting the final shape onto it, I'm gonna make these. And to bend this U shape, I made this jig that makes that job so much easier. Let's see how it works. With this jig, it's possible to make two different sizes for these U-shaped pieces. This pin, it's 8mm diameter, and this smaller one is 6mm. And these bigger pieces will go on the bottom of the speargun handle, and the smaller ones, that's for the line guides. And to make these, it's very simple, and it works every time. Just have to put the 3mm stainless steel wire, and with this handle, this hole is the same diameter, 8mm. Now I just have to turn it. And it's done. Now the smaller one, it's the same thing. I had to bend it here to prevent it from sliding off when I start turning the handle. And now, using this hacksaw, I will start cutting this bracket profile, and for that I will have to follow this line as close as possible. just finished cleaning up all the mess from cutting all of these parts. Hey, it only took me an hour and lots of rubber grease to do it. But now to get the final shape closer to size, I'll use my disc sander. I'm done with the disc sander, and here's all the pieces that I done. And some I already removed the paper and started polishing it. I used a little bit of sandpaper, and as you can see, they're coming along, getting a little bit of shine, which is very good. But in some spots, the disc couldn't reach, like around these tight corners, and for that I will have to use a file. But why using manual power when I can use electrical power? Let me introduce you my electrical jigsaw slash filing machine. Instead of a blade, I'm using this small file. Attach it to where the blade used to go. No changes needed. The only thing I did, I put this plate, and now I just have to turn this on and start filing away. You tell me, I think it beats manual power every time. On this part here, which will go on the bottom of the roller Speargun, using the Dremel tool, I'm gonna make two very thin cuts, one here and another one here, and then I'm gonna bend these two sides up to create an anchor for the rubber band's dyneema. I have to remove a little bit of material from here and here, and I would like to use my new power filing machine to do this, but for that I would have to cut off the handle from this file in order to hold it on the machine, and I really don't want to do that. So for that reason, I'm going to do it the traditional way, by hand. Now that I removed the paper from the template, I'll use this 400 grit wet sandpaper to remove some of these bigger scratches. Once I do the same on all of these parts, I'll use a file and I put a small radius on this top edge and also on the bottom. To polish the sides of the parts, I'll use this wood stick with some 400 grit wet sandpaper. I sanded these down with 600 grit sandpaper, and now I'll use the buffing wheel to polish them. Hey, welcome back. I got the polishing done and everything is looking very shiny, but now it's time to do a little bit more work on these U-shaped pieces. As you've seen before, these were made from 3mm stainless steel wire, and I drilled these two holes at 2.8, so obviously this will not fit in. But once I cut this down to the right size and reduce the diameter here at the tip about 3mm down, then everything will fit like this. And on the back, the wire is sticking out a little bit up, and that extra material, I will pin that down, which will make it expand and secure everything in place. So stick around, don't go anywhere, come along and watch how this was done. I made this sketch that shows the different sizes for all the pieces, and I got this one here which will be cut at 17 millimeters long, and for that I made this piece, 2 holes with the same diameter with the slot on each one, and now I have to slide this in, set the vernier to 17 millimeters, that's close enough, lock it in place, and now I just have to slide this back until it touches and clamp it. Now I can cut it. Okay, now I have to reduce the diameter at the tip about 3 millimeters. So I set this to 14 millimeters. And with a file this until I get the right size. We're moving along with this project, and as you can see, everything is clean and polished. I managed to fit in all of these pieces. Now I have to pin them down to permanently secure it in place. But before I do that, why not kick up a notch here and do something like this? It's called jeweling, and that will be the next thing to do. And here it is, the setup to make the jeweling. I'm using double-sided tape to glue on this piece to hold it in place. This is a tube from a old pen, and here is the abrasive rod. That's what makes the jewels. I'm stepping over about half of the diameter of the abrasive rod and holding it for about 3 seconds, not putting too much pressure. And this rod is about 6 millimeters diameter. I don't know who thought about this or invented this system, but what a great idea. Now that the jeweling is done, I'll start pinning these two ends down to permanently secure these two pieces together. It will look something like this once it's finished. So I clamp this in the vise. And I'll use a little bit of thread locker. And the idea here is to seal any remaining gaps and prevent salty water from entering and perhaps cause any rust later on. And now with this punch, I'll start pinning it down. And now with the file, I have to file this down to make it flush to this face. And once that is done, I'll start bending these two wings up to make the hooks for the dyneema. And now to bend these two sides up, I first scribed a line 10 millimeters from this edge on both sides, and now I clamp this in the vise. And with this punch, I'm gonna hammer it down. Okay, one side is done, and I have to change now the setup to do this side. And now I'll use this block with a little bit of double side tape, and that's to glue this one in place. And I'll do the same. Clamp it in a vise and hammer it with this copper punch. I got a little bit of dyneema here. I want to try it on. Oh, that's good. See, the idea is to go in, but not coming out very easily. I made two sizes of line guides, and these bigger ones have to be bent because they serve two purposes. One is a guide for the line, but also as a resting point when loading and stretching the rubber bands back if needed. And to do that, I also made these two little pieces, and I'll show you how this works. This is the 6mm shaft for the rollers, and off camera I drilled and tapped for a 4mm screws, and now I'll start putting all of these pieces together, and this way it's possible to get an idea how everything will work and look once the spear guns are finished. Now for the line guides, I haven't drilled the holes for the screws because I'm not sure exactly where the final position will be. So for now, a little bit of double side tape will do. And this way, it's possible to get an idea where everything will go. And there will be somewhere around here, these ones that I had to bend. And these will be anchor points for the rubber bands when loading the gun. And this bigger one will go on the back, like this. Now on the bottom of the handle, this one here, and this one for the chest pad. I have a few more pieces to do before I finish all of the hardware for these spear guns, and one of those pieces is what I call the dyneema stop. It's basically a ramp that makes the dyneema go up once it reaches this point here. Another is a star-shaped piece, and that's for the line release. And I'm working on the final design to make the line reel. But that will have to be for another day. If you liked this video, don't forget to give a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I invite you to visit. And if you like what you see in there, why not? Give another big thumbs up, write a comment, and obviously subscribe. Will definitely encourage me to make more videos like this one. Beside the subscribe button, click on the gear icon and enable the two options inside. This way Google will send you a message notifying you that the channel has posted a new video. So for now, I gotta say thanks for watching my videos, and I'll see you next time on Mr. My Videos for You. Bye bye!